Hi dear friends, today's issue. Award-winning and deeply divisive South Korean film director Kim Ki Duk has died of COVID-19 related complications while on a visit to Latvia. The director died of coronavirus in a hospital in the Latvian capital of Riga on Thursday. He was 59. Due to European laws, the hospital won't officially comment on the case. The Korean Ministry of Foreign Affairs confirmed that it had been informed of the death in hospital of a 59-year-old Korean man, but declined to disclose his name. It said that it was helping with funeral arrangements. The Latvian embassy in Seoul also confirmed reports of the death. The Latvian news portal Delfi said Kim arrived in Latvia a month ago with the intention of buying a house and applying for alien residency status. Edith Sepp, CEO of the Estonian Film Institute, tells that Kim approached the organization in September, keen to submit a new film entitled Rain, Snow, Cloud and Fog, a co-production between Korea and Estonia that would have shot in the latter. Though he was late with the application, the director intended to apply again in January 2021. This is great shame he never managed to do. That since the story seemed intriguing, as all his stories were, it touched different models of possible relationships, and 4 separate stories were woven into one story, described Sepp. You might like or dislike his style of filmmaking, but it didn't leave you untouched, Sepp added. Troubled mind, perhaps. But as a person, when we met him briefly in autumn, he was a true to the core creator, a talent, especially when he described his next film, Eyes Full of Passion. In my opinion, he only wanted to make films in life, nothing else. Kim was one of the first directors of the Korean New Wave to break into international consciousness, delivering shocking but beautifully crafted dramas, including The Isle in 2000 and Spring, Summer, Fall, Winter and Spring in 2003, while they delivered a new aesthetic and collected a shelf full of festival prizes. Several of his films were criticized for animal cruelty or their depiction of extreme human cruelty. In between his fine art, Kim also delivered several duds, including The Coast Guard and Dream. Despite his stays overseas, Kim and the Korean film industry establishment kept each other at a distance. Kim often handled writing, directing, editing, and cinematography tasks himself, allowing him to work on micro-budgets and not put himself in the debt of larger films. In the last several years, Kim's halo slipped even further. In 2017-18, he was at the center of a Me Too scandal after an actress he had been working with filed a sexual assault case against him. The case was partially dismissed for lack of physical evidence, and he got away with a modest fine. But more evidence of his violence towards women surfaced later the same year, when 3 actresses made due accusations on investigative news show PD's Notebook, which was broadcast on Korean public broadcaster MBC. His career in South Korean effectively ended at that point. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss our news.
Yes, of course I know people watching my films can have opposing ideas, but I've never done this on purpose or to deliberately spark such discussions. I've made my thoughts into movies with the purest intentions, but it's natural that there are contradictions between those who love my work and those who don't. It wasn't my intention, but the film may have created opposing feelings in the audience. I think it's a good thing that there are contradictions between the audience and the critics after the film is made. Of course, there are a wide variety of types of films. These might be humanistic, comedies, or political films. I think things like wars, terror attacks, and conflicts between countries influence us more. One of the most recent films I made was The Net, a film about the South and North Korean conflict, but it was not supposed to judge which party was right or wrong. I think that cinema, instead of taking sides, should tell the story of mutual understanding of what the real problem is. In this regard, I respect being gray rather than being black or white. I prefer to look at things from the gray side and forgive or make a compromise.
제가 이제 영화를 만든 지 한 25년
It's been 25 years since I started making movies. I didn't have a chance to see many movies while making my first film. I didn't have any formal education, so I didn't know much about cinema. But as I made more and more films, I started to wonder what other directors' films were like. 5 or 6 years after making my first movie, I examined these directors' old movies, especially movies many people see as a masterpiece. Apart from that, I also examined the films of other good directors that were my contemporaries. This has influenced my own movies. I can say I've thought about this a lot of times. I was born in South Korea and made films there, but I'd rather be called a film director than a South Korean film director, because my films are released in many countries. So I'm just a film director.
꼭 그런 것을 정해놓은 건 없고요.
I don't think that way. Of course, I was born in South Korea, but because I always make a lot of films about the conflicts or problems involving other people, I don't really think we should call these films Korean films, just because they were made in Korea. Since we all have a lot of information at our disposal on a global level today, I also think I'm a director who makes global movies. I recently made a film called Human, Space, Time, and Human. It was shown at this festival as well. It's a film about the problems we all have nowadays and universal energy. It doesn't belong to any country, but to all humanity. As you just said, it's a film with opposing ideas. Some people said it was natural, and some said it was pure and beautiful.
저는
I'm a film director, but I also have a film production company. I always want a movie to be watched on the big screen by a lot of people. Therefore, I'm a director. But as a producer, I think it's necessary to gather information through measuring what the audience is interested in. That's why I watch many commercial industrial films, such as American Marvel films and some European films. As a filmmaker, I think I should watch these films in terms of gathering information about filmmaking without thinking whether I like them or not.